Good morning, everybody. This is Brian Bergford with Bergford Performance Systems. I hope you're doing terrific. And on my last day of vacation here, I wanted to do one more video, the topic of which actually came from a subscriber's comment on a previous video. So make sure you leave your comments too so we can get to some of those important items. But what Martin basically asked was how I would explain and define and measure success and what it is and how do you know when you've gone far enough and accomplished it. Is success in the eye of the beholder? And I thought it was a fantastic question, so that's what we're going to talk about today. And I would say that there's two types of success. The first type is context-based success. The second is true success. Now, in context-based success, we essentially set the criteria and standards by which we're going to judge our success in a particular area of life. And so in our personal finances, in our health and our fitness, that would be another area of life, maybe our intimate relationship, our spiritual life, whatever the case may be. In all those areas of life, it's so important for us to set a target and have goals to reach for. And when we have a high standards in those areas of life, I mean, haven't you found that people with a great life typically have high standards for themselves? And so if you want to be happy in a particular area of life, you have to raise your sights and raise your standards. And that would be a context-based success model is what I would call that. And it's interesting because I think that, I guess my version of hell, if I put it that way, would be me getting to the end of my life or maybe the life hereafter and looking back and realizing I could have done so much more and seeing the person that I could have become if I would have really stepped up to the plate and done what I really could have done and what I was capable of doing, and realizing, hey, there's no do-overs. And that's my version of hell. And I was trying to think about how we could avoid something like that. And there's a number of ways, but one of them is just, again, the importance of continually setting our sights higher by getting around people and sharing in experiences that inspire us to see further and to raise our standards. Years ago, Robert Schuller talked about the peak-to-peak principle, and that as you sort of climbed up a vista or up a mountain, you got to a peak. And once you got there, you could actually see further and you could get a peak of the next peak. And it wasn't a vantage point you had before, so you couldn't even see some of what was available. Now, the interesting thing is you sort of come to a crux at this point because there's a choice. Do I stay here and enjoy the view, which I worked so hard to get, or am I willing to go back through the process of working and walking through all the valley to get to the next peak that I saw? And I feel like this is almost the same type of choice that early pioneers in America were faced with, right? Like, do we settle or do we carry on? Are we going to be settlers or are we going to be pioneers? And that's a choice that all of us have at many points in our life. Now, the second thing I was thinking about is the fact that, yeah, we want to appreciate when people congratulate us for success, but be careful. We have to be careful that we don't get lulled into a false sense of security or rest on our laurels or start to believe that too much, that we don't see there's so much more out there. And if we would just raise our sights and have the courage to see further, we could have a life for ourselves that's even greater than we ever imagined. But what I really wanted to talk about today was true success, because I think, isn't that what we're all after? And I believe here's the key with true success and what differentiates it, one of the key differentiators from context-based success. It is a process. It's about success. True success is being in the process of making progress toward unmet goals or criteria that you have in your life. And if you're on that journey and you're walking that road and you're continually getting closer to what you're ultimately after, that to me is success. And because it's a process, you can have lots of past achievements or context-based success and not truly be successful, despite what the outside world might tell you and think based on things that you've done in the past. But I believe that true success is also accompanied by powerful emotions, by peace of mind, by joy, by gratitude, by healthy pride, by confidence, love, grace, generosity, all these things, which is essentially an internal standard that you create. It's an experience you create. In other words, true success bridges the internal world and the external world and brings them together in a sort of a cohesive type of achievement that is so incredibly motivating and compelling and fulfilling. And I think it's what most people miss, because they think they can find their way to happiness if they just have enough accomplishments and context-based success under their belt. And I don't think that's possible. I think that's why most people end up getting burned out and miserable, because they're just trying to achieve one more thing. If I can achieve this one more thing, I'll be happy. And it's not true. You have to choose to allow yourself to be happy and have that be a standard in your life that, listen, if I'm making continued progress toward my goals and dreams, worthy goals and dreams in the future, that is true success, and that is powerful. And so yes, truly successful human beings, I believe, are very driven, but they also bring tremendous joy into their world, into the world of their family and the people around them. They are emotionally wealthy and they're content. Yet they're steady and they're making continual outward progress as well, which is what makes it so impressive and inspiring to be around them. And so I feel like, don't we all want to aspire to have that in our lives? Because I believe the process of despair and emotional death really begins whenever our center of focus shifts from true success to pleasure seeking. And it's an easy path to go down. It's just this slippery slope that we can get caught up in. And I think it's a bad trade and really disastrous for our well-being. And so if we can stay on track and really get our joy and our pleasure from continual true success, we're going to have a life unmatched by most of the people around us. And the beauty of it is that then those people are going to see that success and they're going to come to us and want to know how we created it, because they see how happy we are. And we don't just have the external thing going on that, all the whatever the world might care about, but they see that we have the internal peace and the spiritual gravity that is really the more powerful piece. So I hope this was a beneficial, helpful video for you guys. If you got value from it, pay it forward and share it with a friend. And make sure that you also write down what you got out of this video very specifically for you, so you can put it in your calendar and just review it maybe on a daily basis and let it simmer for the next week so you get the maximum benefit out of it and you really incorporate it into your life. So thanks so much for joining me. I really appreciate it. Make sure you subscribe to the Bergford Performance Systems YouTube channel. Have an awesome day and an awesome week. Go out, kick butt, do the impossible.